please sit in swastikasana, so just loose cross-leg pose, and then pull the buttock flesh out of the way on either side so you can feel the sit bones pressing down into your support. And as the sit bones press down, you try and lengthen through the crown of the head. And then bring the fingertips to support you on the floor. Just roll the shoulders together slightly behind you. You can think of the elbows coming towards each other behind you. And now keep that lift and support in the spine as you bring the palms together into Namaskarasana. And as you bring them together, then please close the eyes to begin the class. And as the eyes close, then begin to draw your attention to your breathing. So we're not trying to change the breath at the beginning of the class, but just noticing your normal inhalations and normal exhalations. And as you pay attention to the inhalations, then really see if you can get this sense of length with the breath. So it starts very low down in the trunk, right down towards the pubic bone. And you have this idea of each in-breath creating length from the pelvis all the way up towards the ears. And as you focus on the breath, then see if you can just soften the eyes, allow the eyes just to recede back into their sockets. Make sure there is a slight space between the lower teeth and the upper teeth. And think of the throat being soft and the abdomen soft too. And now keep the lift in the spine and the chest, but slowly nod the forehead in the direction of the fingertips. Keep the eyes closed as you release the palms to the inner knees, and then on inhalation slowly open the eyes and look up. So please bring your right arm out to the side at shoulder height. Pause there to roll the shoulder back to help turn the palm towards the ceiling. Extend the arm up towards the ceiling into Urdhva Hastasana arms. Just bring the fingertips of the other hand to the tricep area here, the outer upper arm area, and use the hand to roll in the triceps. And as you release the left hand, see if you can keep that action in the tricep muscles. And then release that arm down by the side, and then bring your left arm to shoulder height. Pause there to really try and turn the shoulder back to help turn the palm towards the ceiling. Extend the arm up towards the ceiling. Just bring the fingertips of the right hand to remind the flesh of the action, so it's rolling in or sucking in towards the bone. And as you release the hand, see if you can keep the action in the tricep, and then bring that arm down by the side. And then once more the right arm, turn the shoulder to turn the arm, extend the arm up towards the ceiling. So you use the lengthening of the arm to create length in the whole of the side of the body. Bring the fingertips of the left hand just to support you, and think of going up and over, so it becomes not a collapse. It's really you're thinking of lengthening both sides of the trunk. And then just try and point the breastbone towards the ceiling as you look up. And then to come out of this, you inhale, try to touch the ceiling with the hand as you bring it back, and then down to centre. So all the time you're thinking of creating length in the spine. And then shoulder height, pause with the other arm, turn the shoulder to turn the palm. Extend the arm up towards the ceiling, really try to touch the ceiling, bring the other fingertips to support you, and again think of going up and over. So again, with each inhalation, you're thinking of creating length in the trunk. It's not just the length in the left hand side, but also the right hand side too. And then inhale, reach back up towards the ceiling to come out of this. Exhale, release the arm down by the side. Now we're going to turn that into a twist. So again, you bring the right arm out at shoulder height, roll the shoulder to turn the arm, and as you extend the arm up towards the ceiling, you allow the ribs to turn towards the left. Exhale to bring the right palm to the left outer knee, and now breathe in to become taller. So taller in the sense you're reaching down into the sit bones, growing taller through the crown of the head. As you exhale, follow the breath into the twist. And then keep the height in the spine as you come back to centre. And then we go to the other side. So you bring the left arm out to shoulder height. Pause there to roll the shoulder to turn the arm. Extend the arm up. Turn the ribs to create the twist. As you exhale, bring the hand to the outer knee, other hand behind you. Again, think of breathing in to lengthen through the crown of the head. So not just lifting the chin, but through the crown of the head. As you exhale, use the breath to create the twist. And then inhale, keep the height in the spine as you come back to centre. And then please change the cross of the legs. So to the other choice. And then this time, press the palms down into the thighs to just encourage again that lift in the spine. You think of the elbows just pinning together behind you. And bring the arms forward this time for Badanguliasana. So you interlace the fingers to the roots, turn the palms away, and think of coming forward first and then extending the arms upwards. Grip the outer upper arm muscles towards each other so the elbows come closer, and then just try and, as if you've got a hook on the breastbow, just lifting it up as you lift the head to look up towards the hands. Think of turning the little finger side of the palms down towards the floor behind you as you extend up through the inner wrist, the root of the thumb, and then bring the head and eyes to look forward on the horizon once more. And then release the hands, change the interlace to your other interlace, turn the palms away from you, try to keep the thumb pads touching, and think again of coming forward as you extend the arms up towards the ceiling. Just check you're gripping the elbows towards each other. Again, think of the hook on the breastbow, just lengthening the front of the body to help you look up. Turn the little finger side down as you extend up through the root of the thumb, and bring the head and eyes back to look on the horizon. And then release the arms down by the side. Please come to lie on the back. Make sure you, if you have a belt nearby as well, because we'll be using that in the floor work. If you need a little bit of support behind the back of the head, then take a thinly folded blanket. But otherwise, come to lie down with your legs bent up. So feet and knees are about shoulder width apart. And then take a breath in, just allow that long inhalation on either sides of the chest. As you exhale, allow the ribs to soften. Think of pulling in the lower tummy slightly so you begin to feel weight in the back. So the ribs at the front, which often get held, flared out, see if you can allow those ribs to knit together to give weight to the back. And then bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Check when you've got it towards the ceiling that the arm is long. You've got that outer upper arm action, but long but soft. Check your shoulder is heavy, and then begin to extend the arm towards the floor overhead behind you, but don't lose the connection of the upper arm into its socket. And then bring the arm back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release the arm down by the side. And now bring the left arm up towards the ceiling. So just as you bring it up towards the ceiling, it's very common to find the shoulder is off the floor. So think of drawing the upper arm down into its socket to bring weight into the shoulder. Take a breath in, trying to keep the back heavy as you exhale to extend the arm overhead. Don't let those ribs undo. Try to keep them knitted together at the front. And then bring the arm back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release it down by the side. And now take both arms up towards the ceiling. Keep them separate, keep them shoulder width apart. Check again you have weight in the shoulders, so you draw the upper arms down to the floor. Keep a sense of that action as you begin to extend both arms overhead, so you don't lose the ball and socket connection of the arm. And then bring the arms back up towards the ceiling, and now interlace the hands. Turn the palms away, and again draw the upper arms down to the floor as you extend the arms overhead without letting the back flare up. and then bring the arms back over the chest. Change the interlace once more to your other interlace. Turn the palms away. Think of drawing the upper arms down to the floor as you slowly begin to extend the arms overhead. Now, bring the arms back over the chest and then fold both knees in towards you. Just press the knees together with the hands and then begin to make a few small circles in space with the knees, just to massage the lower back into the floor, and then reverse the direction of these circles. So just nice, easy movement, checking the jaw is nice and relaxed, you're not holding the breath. And then pause in the middle, take a breath in. As you exhale, think of bringing your forehead towards the knees and the knees towards the forehead. And then release the head and shoulders back down. Take another breath in and exhale, going to repeat that again. Can't stress enough, think it's the crown of the head or the forehead going to the knees, not the chin or the nose, so you're lengthening the cervical spine, and then release the head and shoulders back down. Now keep hold of your right leg, put the left foot down on the floor first. Think of pulling in the lower tummy, so you really want to try and flatten your lower back so there's no space there, and see if you can keep that action as you slowly slide the left leg away from you, keeping the heel down on the floor. And once the leg is long, then lengthen the left calf into the left heel. And just think of squeezing your left buttock. Try and engage the left buttock muscle to really get that opening in the front of the hip. And then bring the left leg all the way in towards you. Transfer the hands onto the left knee. Draw that thigh in close towards you. Re-engage the tummy so your lower back flattens down towards the floor. And now see if you can keep that action in the lower back as you slowly lengthen out the right leg. And once the leg is long, then you can lengthen the calf towards the heel, but don't lift the heel off the floor. So if you do that, tendency is you'll be pushing the knee down to the floor. But you want it to be from the lengthening of the calf into the heel for this groin stretch. Now, carefully bring the right leg back to standing. Put the left foot back down. Now again, pull in the lower tummy. Try and flatten the lower back towards the floor. Once more, extend the arms towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers for Badanguliasana. Now again, don't let the back become light as you extend the arms overhead. Keep your lower tummy really drawn back as you extend one leg and then the other into Supta Tadasana. So you're trying to create that length in the spine again through the reach of the feet and the reach of the palms. But if your back becomes light, it means you're shortening the back. So you want to keep the back heavy and down. And now keep the legs active as you bring the arms back over the chest to change the interlace once more to your other interlace. And then once more again, try to keep the back super heavy, super heavy. Imagine there's someone trying to come and pick you up off the floor and you're not going to let them because you're weighted down into the floor. And then bring the arms back over the chest, release the interlace, and then bend one knee and then the other back into standing. Now cross your right leg over the left, just cross it at the thighs. Have the arms just comfortably down by your side and begin to tilt the knees to the right as you breathe in, and then breathe out to bring them back to centre. So just introducing a gentle twist coming from the pelvis through the spine towards the shoulder blades. Exhale, bring them back to centre. And then one more time, inhaling to tilt the knees to the right, but try and keep your left shoulder down. And then exhale, come back to centre. Just undo and change the cross of the legs. So it's left leg crossed over right. And think about the weight in your right shoulder as you begin to tilt the legs to the left. As you breathe in, exhale, keep the tummy pulling in as you bring the legs back to centre. And then two more like this. Inhaling off to the left, exhaling to come back. And then one more time, inhaling, keeping the right shoulder heavy. Exhale, come back to center. Now, undo the legs and then once more cross the right leg over the left. And this time, lift your pelvis off the floor and move it an inch or so to the left and put it down. Take the arms out at shoulder height or just below the line of the shoulder, palm turned towards the ceiling. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just allow gravity to take the legs off to the right, but reach through your left arm. Try to touch the sides of the room with your left arm to help keep that left shoulder down. Stay looking at the ceiling. And then take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring the legs back to center. Put the pelvis back in the middle and then change the cross of the legs so it's left over right. Pick your pelvis up, move it an inch or so to the right and put it down. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, allow gravity to bring the knees to the left and reach through your right arm as though you're trying to touch the room on the right, the wall on the right, with the right arm to help keep the right shoulder down. And then take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the legs back to center and then undo the legs. Now fold your right leg back in towards you, interlace the hands behind the back of the thigh, and then just press the leg up towards the ceiling once. Fold it in towards you a second time. So when you fold it in towards you, what's happening is we're closing the hip joint and therefore releasing the upper part of the hamstring near the sit bones. And then when we stretch the leg up long, we're then targeting more the body of the hamstring, more closer to the knee. Fold it in towards you a third time and then exhale, press it up towards the ceiling. Now keep the leg long and just move the foot on the end of the lower leg. So you're really trying to eke out a circle from the heel to mobilize the ankle, and then just reverse the direction of these circles. I hear a few clicks going on in my foot as I do that. Good. And then pause, fold the knee in towards you and put it back down on the floor. And then fold the left leg in towards you, interlace the hands behind the back of the thigh. Again, the closer you bring the leg into the thigh, it will help to release, so the chest rather, it will help to release the upper part of the hamstrings. And then as you exhale, press the leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale to fold it in. As you press the leg up towards the ceiling, this is going to be a horrible generalization for the men in the class. Try to keep your pelvis and your sacrum down. See, if the pelvis lifts, it means you're avoiding the stretch in the hamstring. And then fold it in towards you a third time, and then as you exhale, press it up towards the ceiling. Now keep the leg long and just see if you can circle the foot on the end of the lower leg, just tracing a big circle with the heel, and then just reverse the direction of those circles. Good. Pause, fold the leg in towards you, put it back down on the floor. Excuse me. Fold the right leg back in towards you. Excuse me. Stretch it up towards the ceiling. Turn the leg out in the hip joint and bring the foot to rest on top of the left thigh. So try and have the right foot active, so you keep the heel pressing out to the left. Your right knee moves away from you, and then see, can you just pick the legs up as a unit in towards the chest. Lift the head and shoulders to try and reach to take hold behind the back of the left thigh or over the head of the shin. Try and bring your knee, your left knee and your head closer towards each other first, and then keep the knee where it is as you release the head and shoulders back down towards the floor. So lovely, lovely stretch for those hip rotator muscles that often get a little bit tight. Just breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. And now, can you just make a small circle in space with your left knee? Just a small circle in space, and then just reverse the direction of those circles as if you're making the circle on the ceiling with the left knee. Good. And then pause, carefully undo, and then fold the left knee in towards you, lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling, turn it out, and place the you can use your hands to help, the left foot on top of the right thigh. Just press the heel, the left heel, out to the right, so you really bring the focus to the hip as opposed to trying to stretch the foot. And then bring the legs in towards you as a unit. Lift the head and shoulders to try and take hold of around the knee or the back of the thigh. Bring the legs in even closer towards you, so as though you're trying to kiss your shin, your left shin with the head. Keep the knees where they are as you release the head and shoulders back down. Just check that you've got length in the back of the neck, so you might need to just tuck the chin in slightly. Just breathe here, and then just see if you can make some small circles with the right knee, as though you're making those circles on the ceiling, and then just reverse the direction of the circles. Good. And then release, carefully undo the legs, and then if you have your belt nearby, please take hold of the belt. So I'm going to have a strand in either hand, so I don't need a loop in the belt. Fold the right leg in deeply towards you again. Put the belt around the sole of the right foot, or the ball of the foot. And then from this folded in position again, so that releases the upper hamstring, then see if you can lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling. Even if you are more flexible, don't bring the foot towards the head, just have it go straight up towards the ceiling. And once you've extended the leg, so if you can't have it towards the ceiling and straight, just angle it further away from you. The important thing is that it should be straight. The thigh muscles you need to engage, draw them back to the bone as though you're drawing them down also towards the floor. Now slide the hands down the belt till the elbows make contact with the floor, and then pull in your lower tummy, really pull it in deeply, and then lengthen out your left leg if possible. Lengthen the left calf into the left heel and the right calf into the right heel, so we're extending through both legs. Just breathe, breathe, breathe comfortably, keeping the jaw nice and relaxed, the chin drawn in. For Supta Padangusthasana 1, always want to try and hold these hamstring stretches for a good 8 to 10 breaths, because they're bigger muscles, it just takes them a bit longer to be persuaded that it's okay to lengthen. Now release and change legs, so it's your left foot in the belt, the right foot keep bent first of all, and once you have the belt around the left foot, pull it in closely towards you, and then think of extending the leg up towards the ceiling. If not towards the ceiling, just somewhere where it can be straight, and slide the hands down the belt till the elbows can make contact into the floor. Think of really sucking back those thigh muscles, draw them back to the bone and down towards the floor. Keep your lower tummy drawn in deeply as you stretch out your right leg on the floor. So try to lengthen both sets of calves into the heels. That's it. Just breathing, breathing, breathing. Good. And then pause and once more change legs. So bring the right leg back into the belt, or the belt around the right foot. Draw the thigh in closely towards you. Once more lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling. Once you are ready with the tummy pulled in, lengthen your left leg. So we're back into Supta Padangusthasana 2. Now take hold of the belt as close to the right foot as you humanly can this evening, and then keep the hand on the belt, wherever it is good, draw the right shoulder down to the floor, and suddenly that increases that hamstring work. for sure. Take the left hand out to the side for a bit of counterbalance and begin to extend your right leg off to the right. I've got a nice a unit here, so I'm going to rest my leg on. If you're taking it lower, just make sure it's not about going to the floor, it's more about keeping the head moving towards the head end of you rather than down towards the floor. Keep the left leg super engaged, the left side of the pelvis heavy, and then carefully bring the leg back to centre, and then change hands so it's your left hand that takes hold of the belt as close to the foot as you can. Right hand goes out to the side for a bit of counterbalance, and begin to take the leg off to the left. Again, it's not about getting the foot to the floor, it's about it going towards the head. So the right side of the pelvis may become a little bit light, that's fine, but we're not rolling onto the side. Keep the control. Breathe, and then bring the leg back to centre, release, and then we're changing legs again. So it's your left foot in the belt. Begin to fold the thigh in towards you, and then lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling in the belt again, or angled slightly away from you. Lengthen your right leg as well when you're ready, pulling in the tummy. Take hold of the belt with your left hand as close to the foot as you possibly can. Just notice how the left shoulder will have probably become light to do that. Can you draw the shoulder back to the floor and still lengthen through both legs, the right leg in particular. Now think there is a weight on the right hand side of your pelvis as you begin to take the leg off to the left, but more towards the head than bothering about the floor. The other hand is out to the side for counterbalance. Keep the head and eyes looking at the ceiling. Try and turn the navel, turn the ribs, turn the chest to the right, so it's truly an opening in the hip rather than a twist. And then bring the leg all the way back to the middle. Change hands, so it's your right hand that takes hold of the foot as close as possible. Left hand goes out to the side for a balance. Begin to take the leg off to the right, but towards the head. That's it. So the left side of the pelvis will become a little bit light, but don't lose the control. Keep the chest looking towards the ceiling. Just see if you can breathe into this lovely, lovely, lovely stretch. Good. And then carefully bring the legs back to centre, and then come back to the middle. Now please come and lie on your left hand side. So I'm choosing the left so I can turn easily to look towards the camera, and lengthen if possible your underneath arm, your left arm, on the floor, so the palm is down, so the head can rest on the upper arm if possible. Both legs are together, both legs are long, and both legs are active. You can bring your feet just a little bit forward, so if you were to look down you can easily see the feet. And then see, can you bend your underneath arm to support the head in the palm of the hand? And then see, can you bend your right leg and bring the sole of the foot to rest on the inner thigh of the underneath leg. So just see if you can place the foot. Try to keep the knee looking towards the ceiling. So you have to be careful that you're not just rolling to the back of the pelvis. You need to keep a sense of lift in the pelvis. And then for those who are able to, you can reach to take hold of the big toe with the first and second fingers of your right hand, and then see, can you draw the knee towards the armpit, and then think, can you lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling without dropping back. and then fold the leg. So that's the first version. Now of course, if you can't comfortably reach the foot, the big toe, then have the belt, just place it around the foot so you can take hold of the belt. And then once more, fold the knee, the thigh in towards the armpit or the chest, and see, can you lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling. So we're practicing lying on the beach, ready to summons the person bringing the drinks. And then fold it in, and then once more see if you can extend the leg up towards the ceiling without dropping back. The bottom leg presses down into the floor to help you get that. Good. And then carefully release. Good. And then see if you can turn over. I'll turn to the other end just so I can stay facing the camera. See if you can lengthen the underneath arm away from you. Have one leg stacked on top of the other. You can bring the feet just slightly forward. Left hand is there for balance. Fold the underneath arm to rest the head in the palm of the hand if possible. And then begin to turn the left leg out. You can use your hand to place it on the inner thigh. So it's a sideline tree pose effectively. And then either use the belt, it's perfectly okay to use the belt, or take hold of the big toe with the first and second fingers and the thumb. And just see, can you bring the knee in close to the armpit, and then think of extending the leg up towards the ceiling. Without, you may find yourself a little bit wobbly, but see if you can reach through, press the underneath leg down into the floor to extend the leg up. And then just bend the knee once more, bring it back to rest on the thigh. Good. And then take a breath in. As you breathe out, see if you can extend the leg long up towards the ceiling. Then press down into the underneath leg. Keep the jaw nice and relaxed, the breath nice and easy. And then fold it in towards you a second time. And then when you're ready, take a breath in. As you exhale, so again, look, see, I bring the knee in close to release the upper hamstring, and then think of it extending the leg long up towards the ceiling for a good hamstring release. Good. And then carefully release, bend the knee, bring the leg back down. Good. And then please roll to the side, and then come up onto all fours. Now, if your knees are a bit iffy, you can always take some more support, a blanket underneath the knees. I got one of the thicker mats. It depends on what you've got to work on at home. Now have the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips, and then just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just round the back up towards the ceiling and release the head. And then think of just lifting the tailbone to reverse that movement, to bring it into a gentle extension. So once more, you take a breath in, lift the ribs, release the head, try and really let go of the head as you lift the tummy muscles up to round the spine, and then slowly begin to tip the tailbone, the tip of the tailbone up towards the ceiling to bring you into a gentle extension. Now bring the big toes together, keep the knees wide, and just see if you can sit the bottom back towards the heels for a moment, or wherever you can comfortably get, and then think of lengthening the arms forward into Adho Mukha Virasana, just allowing the head to release down. Even though this is slightly recuperative pose, so we're stretching out the back, keep the arms active, don't let the elbows come onto the floor. Think of stretching the front end of the mat away from you, just to help you get a deeper folding in the hip joints, the buttock bones sitting back towards the heels. Good. And then come forward again onto all fours. Good. And now see, can you keep the toes pointed, stretch your left leg as far back behind you as you can, so that you'll probably feel your pelvis moves a little bit over onto the right heel. And then come back. Good. And then the right leg, see if you can lengthen that. So someone's got hold of the second toe of your right foot and is just pulling that back and away from you, so that you'll feel the pelvis shifts a little bit over onto the left heel. Good. And then come back. And once more, the left leg, see if you can let that leg lengthen away from you, but try and look up, rather than down at the floor. So you have to, that tummy, the lower tummy area, pull up, and then come back onto all fours. And then see if you can lengthen the right leg as far back as you comfortably can. That's it. Again, think of lifting the tummy to look forward. That's it. And then come back to centre. Just bring the big toes together again. Keep the knees apart. Just see if you can float the bottom back towards the heels again. And then just lengthen the arms forward and release the head. These moments of rest, just allow the breath again. Think of the breath creating length all the way down to the pubic bone on the right hand side and the left hand side of the body, all the way up towards the ears. And as you exhale, just allow the ribs to soften. Good. And then look forward, again come back onto all fours, and then once more can you lengthen the left leg behind you, and then curl the left toes under, so as if you're in an athletics starting block. So you've gone back as far as you comfortably can, and then lift the knee off the floor to stretch that heel further away from you. Lift the knee off the floor and then you let it come back, but really try and lengthen that heel away from you, and just notice what happens to the pelvis. Can you feel a movement in the pelvis as you're lifting and lowering that back knee? Just lift it and lowering it. Good. And then come back onto all fours again, and then lengthen your right leg as far back as it can comfortably go, as far as your knee mobility permits. Once it's back as far as it will go, curl the toes under. See if you can lift the knee and stretch that heel away from you and lower. So again, you lift the knee, stretch the heel away from you and lower. Good. And then once more, keep the toes curled under, stretch that knee away, and just notice again, can you feel this little movement in the pelvis as you do that? Just come back onto all fours again, bring the big toes together, just allow the bottom to sit back towards the heels once more, and again just take a brief rest into Adho Mukha Virasana. Good. Just again coming back to the breath to release. Good. And then look forward, come back onto all fours again. Good. And now this time, could you bring your right knee forward between the hands? So between the hands. If you have blocks at home and you want to use bricks rather, just to give you a bit of length, then please take that. And then see, can you lengthen the left leg away from you and curl those back toes under and lift the knee and then lower the knee. So you curl the back toes under, lift the knee off the floor. Again, can you feel as you lift and lower the knee, there's a little movement of the pelvis that's taking place, of the sacrum that's taking place as you lift and lower the knee. And then see, can you keep the knee lifted, and lift first your left hand towards the ceiling and try and see it. and then lift your right hand towards the ceiling and try and see it. Good. And then once more lift the left hand towards the ceiling. Just notice what's happening in your pelvis as you're lifting alternate arms, trying to see the hand. Good. And then bring the hands back down, bend the back knee, take the right leg back, bring the big toes together, just see if you can sit back towards the heels again and rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. This time you can bend the arms, bringing the elbows down onto the floor. If you're a cyclist or a runner, there's great variations for you. Now come forward again onto all fours. Bring the left knee forward between the hands. That's it. Try and reach your right leg as far away from you as possible. We'll keep the toes curled under. And then lift and lower that back knee. Each time you lift the knees, try to stretch that heel, that right heel, further away from you. Lift and lower the knee. Good. That's it. And then the next time you have lifted the leg, pause there. Keep reaching that back heel far away from you, and then see, can you lift the left hand towards the ceiling, looking towards it, bring it down. Keep the heel reaching behind you as you lift the other hand towards the ceiling and bring it down. So once more, left hand reaching up and bring it down, and then the other hand reaching up. Good. And then bring it down. Bend the back knee, take the left leg back, bring the big toes together again. Now this time, just as you walk, see if you can sit back on the heels in seated position. So stretching out the front of the foot, the shins and the quadriceps, the front of the thigh muscles. And then bring your hands forward, curl the toes under, and see, can you just sit back on the heels to stretch out the plantar side of the foot, the sole of the foot and the toes. Good. And then come forward again onto all fours. Bring your right knee forward, right knee forward. Good. And then once more stretch your left leg away from you. Try and stretch away, but the toes are pointed this time. So I stretch that leg away from me. Try to reach it away from me. And now this time, you may need to walk your hands forward. See if you can bring your right knee towards the floor in front of you. So you're sitting on that right heel. And try and lift the front of the body. And then see if you can lengthen that back leg away from you to bring the right heel back onto the floor. So if you need to have a quick look, by all means look. So I think of just coming forward, I'm trying to bring the right knee towards the floor in front of me, looking up, and then I let the left leg slide back to bring that heel back to the floor. And then pause and change legs. So you have the left leg between the hands. Slide your right leg as far away from you as you comfortably can, being on the top of the foot. And then think, can you bring the left knee straight towards the floor in front of you without lifting the bottom off the heel. Look up and then bring the heel back to the floor. Good. And then once more think of coming forward to bring the knee to the floor. And then you lengthen the back leg away from you to bring the heel down. That's it. Just take the front leg back, keep the knees apart, bring the big toes together, and then just slowly sit back towards the heels again and rest the forehead down. Just take a good few breaths just to rest after that variation. And then once you've rested, come back onto all fours again. Bring your right foot forward between the hands, so you keep it between the hands. Now curl, stretch the back leg away from you, curl the back toes under. Just lift and lower the left knee off the floor a few times. Good. And then see, could you bring your elbows onto your right thigh, so just to support, to lift the other upper body. And then some of you will be able to bring the hands onto the thigh, so you think of really lifting up the tummy to lengthen the front of the spine, and then could you keep the back toes curled under as you lift that knee away from the floor. Keeping the tummy lifted, try to look forward rather than down at the floor. And then release that knee, left knee back down, bring the right foot back, and just take a rest for a moment again into Adho Mukha Virasana. Big toes together, knees are apart, just allow the head to release down. Good. And just come back to the breath each time, just to allow the breath to recover. And then please come forward again, so you just have to do that on the other side. Take your time. And then could you bring the left leg forward between the hands, stretch the back leg away from you, curl the right toes under, and then just lift and lower the right knee a few times. Try to stretch that heel away from you each time that you lift the knee. Good. And then pause with the knee down. See if you can bring your forearms to rest on the left thigh. Good. Try to, and then some of you will be able to bring the palms down onto the thigh. Try to lengthen the arms, keep the back toes curled under, and then could you lift that knee off the floor. Back knee off the floor, looking forward. Good. And then you release the knee back down. Take the front leg back. And then once more, just sit back one more time into Adho Mukha Virasana. Good. And then walk the hands back, and then please come up to standing. But it is change the camera angle. Oops. Oh, needs to go further back, excuse me. So please come and sit stand in Tadasana. Good. So your arms are just long by your side, feet are together. Good. And then from here, just bring your right arm out to the side, roll the shoulder back to turn the arm, and extend the arm up towards the ceiling. Good. And then bring the arm back down by the side. Hopefully you can see a bit more. Oops. Sorry, it's my other computer. And then could you bring your left arm out to the side at shoulder height? Pause there, roll the shoulder to turn the arm, and extend the arm up towards the ceiling. And then bring that arm back down by the side. Good. Now from here, please bring the middle fingers to touch, bend the knees, and then step your feet nice and wide apart. So about standing pose distance. And you remember from last week we looked at a pose called Virabhadrasana 1, so that you turn your left foot well in. So turn the front of the foot well in, and then to get an extra bit of turn, lift the left heel and take it further away from you. And then turn the whole of the right leg out to the right. So the foot turns, the knee turns, the thigh has turned. And then keep your hands on your hips. Can you turn the pelvis to the right? So the left side has to roll forward. Those funny little movements we were looking at with the pelvis in the floor work. And the right side has to draw back. So you turn the pelvis and the chest towards the right. Keep the back heel pressing down into the floor. And then carefully come back to centre. And then we'll go to the other side. So you turn your right foot deeply in. Lift the heel to stretch it further behind you. And then think, could you turn the whole of the left leg to the left? So the knee, the foot, the hip are all turning that way. And then could you steer the pelvis? So remember last week, we often the case that the chest will turn, but the pelvis isn't turning to the left. So it's the right side rolling forward, the left side drawing back. And you just have to be careful you're not gripping the right gluteal muscles, which would alter the position of the pelvis. Good. You can probably feel, I can certainly feel a strong stretch in my back calf as I keep that heel rooted down into the floor. Good. And then carefully come back to centre, bend the knees and just come back to Tadasana for a moment to rest. And then once more bring the middle fingers to touch, bend the knees and step your feet, kind of standing pose distance. Maybe for Parsvottanasana, the pose you're about to do, just a little bit narrower than you might go normally. Bring the hands on the hips again, turn your left foot well in, lift the heel to stretch that further behind you. Keep that leg planted as you turn the right leg all the way towards the right. And again, you can use the hands just to encourage this turn of the pelvis. You're trying to get the hips, the outer trochanters, even as though there's a bolt going through your two hip joints. Lift the tummy up, and then see, can you fold forward, fold forward, fold forward, looking forward. Now you can bring the hands to rest on your forward shin. Others will be able to get their fingertips and palms towards the floor. And then look forward, whichever hand position you've got. If they're on the shin, that's absolutely fine. Look forward, trying to lengthen the sides of the body. That's it. So the back becomes more concave than rounded. Good. And then inhale to come up. Bring the legs back to centre and then step back to the middle. You can see why I spent a lot of time on the floor preparing the hamstrings and the hips for Parsvottanasana. It's an intense hamstring stretch in all its variations, really. So let's go to the other side. Bring the middle fingers to touch, bend the knees and step the feet nice and wide apart. Again, you can keep the hands on the hips. Lift the front of the left foot and turn that deeply in. Then lift the heel and stretch it further behind you. And then turn the left leg all the way towards the left. And again, you can use your hands to help give the steer to the pelvis, as though it's a steering wheel. You're turning round to the left. So the left side of the pelvis goes back, the right side releases forward. And then lift the lower tummy up so you create length in the front and the back of the body, and you keep that sense of length in the front as you begin to, as though there's a hook on the breastbone, drawing that forward. Keep the left quadriceps drawing up and back to the bone to come into the pose. Now if your fingertips reach the floor, that's absolutely fine, but look forward, try to lengthen the spine forward for Parsvottanasana. You're looking for an even pelvis, as if I could have a cup of tea perched there. As you look forward, keep breathing, keep the back heel pressing into the floor, and then inhale to come back to centre, carefully bend the knees, and then come back to the middle. Good. And then please come and sit down on your mat. There. Good. So, I've lost my blanket. Good idea to sit on a thinly folded blanket to begin with, and then sit so that you're more on the front edge of your blanket, with your legs stretched out in front of you. So my feet are just about hip distance apart, so for Dandasana. So all the work we've been doing, think of the thigh muscles drawing back to the bone, lengthening the calves into the heels, and try to again press down into the sit bones as you lengthen through the crown of the head. Just bring the fingertips to the floor beside you, just behind the line of the hips, and think of the elbows drawing together behind you to help open the chest. Dandasana. And then bring the hands forward, interlace the fingers for Badangulyasana, and think of going forward to take the arms up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the elbows together so you're lengthening through the palms as you're lengthening through the heels. Look forward on your horizon and then release the arms down, change the interlace to your other interlace, turn the palms away, once more go forward to go up towards the ceiling. Good. And then from here, break the interlace of the hands, bring your right hand to the left outer knee, the other hand behind you, to create a twist again in Dandasana. Inhale to grow taller, exhale, turn with the breath to the left. Good. And then come back to centre. Once more, interlace the hands perhaps with your other interlace. Push the arms away to take the arms up towards the ceiling. So you lengthen down through the sit bones, you stretch the palms up, but keep the thigh muscles drawing back to the bone. And then release the interlace as you turn to the right. Bring the left hand to the right outer knee, other hand behind you. And inhale to grow taller as you exhale to take the twist. Good. And then carefully come back to centre. And then please bend the knees to bring the soles of the feet towards each other. So soles of the feet touching, and try and take hold of the big toes with your first and second fingers for Baddhanasana, first and second fingers. And then try to make sure the heels are as close to your pubic bone as possible. And then just try and press, if you look at my knees, if you press the little toe sides of the feet in towards each other, it helps the knees to descend. You can think it's as though the soles of the feet are opening like a book towards the ceiling, so you can allow the big toe sides of the feet to come apart. Now try to pull on the big toes to bring your chest forward between the arms for Baddhanasana. Just nice, easy breathing. Baddhanasana, cobbler's pose. That's it. Good. And then pause, and then just let the feet come a little bit forward, and then bring your right hand onto the floor beside you, and just see if you can stretch the left leg up and away from you, and then come back down, and then change so it's the right hand on the right foot, left hand just beside you, so you can lean over a little bit just to stretch that leg up and away from you. Good. And then come back. So you take hold of the big toes again, and now can you just lean over and stretch the left leg away from you, and then come back, and then lean to the other side, and then stretch the other leg away from you, and then come back. I'm just going to get off my blanket now. Careful you haven't got any objects, sharp objects behind you. So once more, lean to the right to stretch the left leg away from you, and then lean to the other side to stretch the right leg away from you. Good. And now see, can you just roll to the back of your sit bones, just lift the feet a little bit off the floor without dropping back, and then come back. Once more, lean a little bit back to lift the feet, and then can you stretch both legs out to the side, keeping the chest nice and lifted, and then bring the feet back together again. Just let the feet come back down. Isn't that a fun thing to do? So again, just lean back a little bit off the sit bones so the feet lift, and then think, can you stretch the legs out to the side for Urdhva Upavista Konasana. Good. And then release. Now pause and then lengthen your left leg out to the side, and then the right leg out to the side. So we are in Upavista Konasana. Just need to move back a little bit so that you can see. Legs are now as wide as you can comfortably have them. Keep your legs on the centre of the back of the heels, so don't let the feet roll in or the feet roll too far out. Your kneecaps, if you had lights on them, would be directed straight up towards the ceiling. Your toes are going straight up towards the ceiling. The hands are just a little bit behind you to give you a bit of support through the spine. So the leg action, again, thigh muscles drawing back. Sometimes in a studio what you do is you have two people putting one foot on one groin and the other foot on the other groin to make sure that area stays back, stays down, and that when that area is pinned down, then you've got something to lengthen away from with the spine. Now bring the arms forward again, interlace the fingers for Badangulyasana. Turn the palms away, reach the arms forward, and then extend the arms up towards the ceiling. Grip the elbows together, look up at the hands, and then bring the head and eyes again to look forward on the horizon. Bring the arms halfway down, change the interlace to your other interlace once more, turn the palms away, and again extend the arms up towards the ceiling. Grip the elbows together, think of the chest being, there's a knee between my knee between your shoulder blades, pushing that area forward. That's it, good. And then release. Just allow the knees to bend, to come back into Konasana for a moment. Good. Pressing the little toe sides of the feet together to get that real nice opening. Another thing they do in the studio is put weights on the thighs but I don't really recommend that, or even you get people standing on the thighs to assist in this pose. Good. And then once you've just been in Konasana, once again extend the legs wide as you comfortably can for Upavista Konasana. Interlace the fingers once more, come forward, extend the arms up towards the ceiling. Good. Release the interlace, and then turn your chest towards your right leg. The hands, one hand comes onto the floor in front of you, the other hand to the other side of the thigh, and think of lengthening and lifting up. Good. And then come back to centre, interlace the hands once more, turn the palms away, extend the arms all the way up towards the ceiling again, so you come back into this pose. Release the interlace, turn the chest, turn the body towards your left leg. Keep the thigh muscles engaged though, both sets of thigh muscles engaged as you turn towards the extended right leg. Good. Now carefully come back to centre. You can use your hands just to help bring the legs back to the middle. That's it. Good. Into Konasana. Good. Now I'm just going to show you this from the side. Keep the feet in Konasana, and then keep your left leg where it is, and bring your right foot to stand. So you bring the right foot to stand. And I'll just turn to the side now so you can see that. So my I'm mirroring, so it's my it's the left knee out, the right leg is standing, and then could you keep your left hand where it is, stretch your right arm up towards the ceiling, and then begin to reach it forward, reach it forward, reach it forward. So the armpit, the right armpit goes beyond the head of the shin. Turn the thumb side down, wrap that arm around the head of the shin, and then the other arm goes up and round in a circle to see if you can bind in this position. And then release, release, good. So come back into Padkonasana, bring your left foot to standing, so the other leg stays out to the side. Bring your hands to support you so you get the length in the spine, and then stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling, so you're turning to the right, and then you think of reaching the arm forward, 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 forward. Turn the thumb side down, try to wrap that upper arm around the head of the right shin, and then the other arm goes up and round in a circle, if I've got space, to find the other hand. And then think of, that's it, so you're leaning on the bent leg, and turn the head to look over your right shoulder to the back corner of your room. Good. And then carefully release, that's it. Stretch the legs forward, and then just shake the legs a few times just to release any tension in the backs of the knees. Good. And then when you are ready, please prepare yourself for Shavasana. So you keep the knees bent. If you have a bolster and want to use it, absolutely fine. If you want to rest the lower legs on the seat of a chair or a settee, that's absolutely fine. Just tuck your bottom under and slowly lay your spine back down onto the floor. If you need a blanket for the back of the head, please take it, because you don't want to be shortening in the back of the neck. With your legs still bent, just use the thumbs to adjust, pull, as if you're pulling the backs of your pants towards the backs of the knees. And then once you've done that, you allow one leg to lengthen and then the other into Shavasana. Keep the tummy slightly drawn back, the arms come down by the side, tuck the shoulder blades into the back of the body, keep the chin slightly drawn in. Blankets too much, and if you wear glasses, it's probably a good idea just to put them to one side in Shavasana. And then when you're in Shavasana, if it's safe for you to do so in your environment, close the eyes and begin the return to the process we began at the beginning of the class of just drawing your attention to your breath. So just allowing yourself with each inhalation to allow the breath to create length, even length, down towards the pubic bone and all the way up the sides of the body towards the two ears. Allow the eyes to soften, the jaw to be relaxed, again not gripping the teeth together. Keep the head in the centre of the spine. And as you allow these deep, lengthening, expansive breaths, see if you can just let the eyes soften, the throat soften, the abdomen soften. Allow the soles of the feet to release, the palms of the hands. As if with after each in-breath and you exhale, it's as though you're just melting down into the floor. If you find a thought arising, a feeling, it might be thinking about what you're going to have for supper or what's for lunch, what you had for lunch, whatever, just don't try and fight those things coming up. You simply acknowledge them, but just then give yourself permission to come back to your breath. And then once you've been in Shavasana, slowly begin to wriggle the fingers and toes. And then when you have done that, bring the feet to standing or on a bolster. If you're using a bolster, just pause there. And then gently pull the thighs in towards the chest. Just lift the head once more to look towards the pubic bone. And then release the head and shoulders back down. And then slowly just roll to a convenient side and just rest on your side. Don't come straight up into sitting. Just give everything just an opportunity to adjust. And then when you are ready, see if you can, without holding the breath, so keeping the breath nice and easy, see if you can use your hands again without holding the breath to bring yourself up to a sitting position. And then when you are ready, come and sit again in easy cross-leg pose, facing the front. And then bring the palms into Namaskarasana, close the eyes, draw your attention back to your breath and the sense of length in the spine. And then slowly bring the forehead down, release the palms to the inner knees, and then on inhalation, slowly open the eyes and look up. Thank you very much, everybody.